Hello and welcome to the Forge Alliance Forever Cast. I'll be your host Swkoll, and today I'm here with a very special guest, the Kappa. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Also known as the Koopa, who'll be here casting this 1v1 on Canis River today. So, Kappa, what do you think of the players?
Well, both TA4Life and MrMackey are supposed to be, good players, so I will enjoy watching this because it'll be something of a training exercise.
Yeah.
And watching the build orders on Canis, it will be interesting because it's honestly one of those places where you can do many different things because of this river in the middle.
Yeah, it has a bunch of nice components with the hydro that is somewhat hard to gather, or hard to control, but is still relatively important, and there's lots of little rocks spread out across the map that can be utilized for whatever you want.
Yeah, the hydro is a pretty important part on this map, because if you overbuild power, you waste mass, which is why I'm actually not liking MrMackey's build right now.
Looks like he'll be going for a 6p gen second land build. Getting a bit early reclaim.
Yeah, and TA will be going with a little bit more aggression with tank out earlier than MrMackey's Mantis, but did you say Mackey?
Yes,
he is going to get scalped.
The NG will have to run away. The Celine not
TA
really
actually going
weight.
with a double tank.
Yeah, the second tank will come out and deny the hydro for MrMackey, at least temporarily. And it looks like the Celine will survive that engagement after the engineer was forced back. We'll deny that mechs, while the engineer over at the hydro not having a good time.
Indeed.
We'll get cleaned up.
MrMackey actually going with a triple air. So this TA is going with triple land and then fourth air, which is rather interesting because they're both not getting their ACUs out that early. But MrMackey will have his out earlier than TA. Usually the meta dictates that the ACU move to the opposite side with the single mechs and the big rock.
That's usually what happens, but sometimes you can see ACUs doing more cheesy things by going directly across the river or just going to wherever the fight is. So we have a bomber out from MrMackey. Looks like we'll be hunting for TA4Life's engineers. We'll miss the first one, but coming in on his own base.
He's actually going with a double bomber.
First pass,
he probably knows it.
There's one NG.
Yeah. Takes another down into the yellow, but doesn't completely finish it off. It's coming around for another attack. TA starts an interceptor, but MrMackey already has a second bomber headed for the base as well.
Yeah.
That's another two engineers that go down.
Looks like TA will try to get some mobile anti-air out, as well as a static anti-air. Does not want this harassment to get out of control. The static air will go up.
A third bomber out from MrMackey. He is going very heavy on the bomber harassment. But TA finally has an interceptor out, so MrMackey has to switch to interceptors or he's going to lose air superiority.
And a very nice 8 HP tank in the back harassing Mackey's mexes. But meanwhile, a simultaneous push from Mackey on both sides. 3 Mantis up in the top left, a single Mantis up in the top right, doing good harassment.
Bomber's actually working quite well for MrMackey. All of the engineers in TA's base have been denied, so his factory spam will not be up anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm counting 5 engineers on the map for TA. That's like really, really low at 6 minutes into the game.
But the important part is that TA got his hydro, so did MrMackey. He actually has an interesting 8-up position. It's a little back. but he can see the left side. Actually, I don't like this much. Really, the radio should have been like in the middle of this, like,
Well, I think it was built more
well,
for dealing with the early air harassment. So that was sort of the thought behind putting it there. And see, there's a second radar over on the left side of the map. But MrMackey, being very aggressive, going directly into the heart of TA's base, perhaps wants to take out that static AA. You know, TA, after taking out those mexes that were under Mackey's control, will fall back.
I think Mackie knows that TA is going to be low on tanks because TA still has not gotten any engineers back in his base. He has one on power spam, but there's still none making additional. Oh, but I have not noticed this. He has actually been getting Tech 2.
Oh, you're right. Starting to work on some Ultravas. In addition to the air control he has, which is not something to really be underestimated, although MrMackey is leading by about 100 power. He's going to be able to catch up on that air game. TA
Seems
still
that
without that build capacity in base.
it doesn't seem like TA wants any more build capacity because his eco is in good shape, not overbuilding power too much.
It looks like MrMackey is going to be fairly aggressive with his ACU. Actually, will turn around. Looked like he was going to try to walk into the back of TA's base for a minute there. But MrMackey really establishing map control right now with about a 10 mass per second lead.
Yeah, this is what you get when you try to rush Tech 2.
Especially
But
after such heavy for the air harassment. So
the left side, though, completely open for TA4Life. He has absolutely nothing to deny this push on the left side except for his ACU.
yeah, he's got one bomber. That's something, right? So 2 Ultravas out on the field, 2 bombers out in the field. Let's see if TA can turn this around. MrMackey looks like he's halfway done on his own T2 land factory, which should even things up. At least
Well, you can also factor in the fact that he has more build capacity and he's leading in mass. So if he denies the reclaim for TA4Life, he can win this pretty early.
looks like MrMackey and TA's ACUs meeting each other, but they will fall back. Single Ultra in this force might be able to push through here, though there are a lot of Medusas for the stun.
Yes, and Medusa's spam start.
Perhaps he was waiting for this second Ultra to start showing up.
TA still doesn't have that much build capacity in his base, but he has a second Tech 2 factory up now.
Interestingly, MrMackey doesn't actually have an energy storage, so he won't be able to get any overcharges off if his ACU
That's
ever gets in range.
That is bad, actually. Against Ultravas, you want to overcharge. They can eat your ACU for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you don't have overcharge.
TA already has his own energy storage. Not that he really has the power to do continuous overcharging. Actually, he has.
I think 1 or 2 overcharges are still good. He's actually mass stalling, but he has some reclaim.
TA is actually probably more likely to use overcharges than Mackey would. He's gone for a very nice eco balance himself. And MrMackey
Mackie actually floating mass. Oh no, he started making 2-2 stuff.
I'm at 11 minutes, 20 seconds. What are you?
I'm at 10.
Alright.
10:37.
I'll slow down there.
Okay, 10:50 now. We can continue.
So yeah, a group of 5 Ultravas moving into range
That would
of
be very painful.
MrMackey's very large army. Meanwhile, we have another group of Ultravas on the right side of the map, forcing MrMackey back, and now we have a completely turn in map control, but a beautiful overcharge from MrMackey. Takes out 3 Ultravas in one shot. TA will have to stop putting on the pressure here. At least fall back slightly.
The thing about Urshiras, they're very susceptible to overcharge because they're such expensive units.
Yeah.
With pillars, for example, you don't have such a problem because they're very cheap.
Although Oshawas do have the advantage of the range and the speed. That
Yeah, you can technically kite an ACU with an Oshawa, but it depends whether they have a gun upgrade or not.
Yeah.
So what happens is that gun upgrade is very detrimental to a Seraphim player, especially at the T2 stage.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like MrMackey has a gun upgrade. So his Ultras are taking bombs to death. It's interesting. And the Rhinos will come in and roll over the right side of the map.
TA smartly moving forward his ACU to deal with the Medusa.
Yeah, those Medusas will have to pull back.
I think a gun upgrade from MrMackey. That would be pretty awesome. He does seem to have the power for it. I don't think that here, well, if he grabs some Sun Reclay, he's currently stalling mass.
Now at 13:30, we're going to see a pretty big T2 and T1 land engagement. Looks like a bit of a misplay from Mackey. He'll have to retreat. Too many Ultras for his Rhino force.
Or Medusas.
Yeah, Medusas will just sort of die.
He has a lot of forces on the left side.
And it looks like as TA pulls in, MrMackey will take the opportunity to, or at least advance his very, very large force through these choke points. Trying to navigate them through isn't pretty, but...
TA actually moving his ACU a little bit down to grab a little bit of reclaim, but he's going to move back.
Yeah, I mean, if he tried to secure this choke point with his ACU, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. These Ultras can force this T2 force back, though it has been reinforced recently.
TA doesn't really have any forward radar covering the right side. Well, he can see. Oh, now he does.
And look, he's been wasting a bit of mass. These tactical missile defenses. What a noob.
I actually expected TML from one of them. It's very powerful against people who don't build TMD early.
Yeah.
But usually you scout, and none of them have been scouting.
TA is one of the players that will just get the TMD, even if he doesn't scout any TML or doesn't really suspect it.
It seems that MrMackey has solid air control now. And
although the
as I say
flash,
that, NTs have been destroyed by flak.
Yeah. TA has a 2-kill flak.
The flak really helps against winning air superiority.
And a 7-kill flak, so it's a lot of inties dead. Looks like this lone mole missile launcher is an interesting choice, considering there are no T2 PD at all from MrMackey. It's just going to be used to bombard the T1 mechs from long range. So there's that.
Left side once again open for TA4Life. He's moving his Ultravas down
Rhinos
towards his choke point.
Getting all the way to the back of TA4Life's base.
Wagners. Ooh.
Oh yeah, the Wagners are on tank. They will get the one of the energy storages. Great move from MrMackey.
TA4Life notices this. He's started to move his Ultravas back, but it's not fast enough.
He will end up reclaiming it though. Just in time for a big push on the right side of the map. MrMackey trying to force back TA, and looks like he will be successful.
It doesn't look like MrMackey has enough rhinos in there to continue the push.
Yeah.
TA's Michael is very nice, keeping the Ultravas out of range.
Yeah, the rhinos just really can't push through these choke points. Like this.
Yeah, because the hills, OP hills.
He's got the gun upgrade on his ACU, and that'll be.
Well, that would be very interesting.
Mackey hasn't been working on any comparable upgrade, so this might be a game-winning upgrade. But the Wagners,
More Wagners around the base.
Killing the
Back at
T2
the
Engis,
base.
building T2 power. Oh, if he can pick off the energy storage, that would be pretty big. This TA really needs that, and looks like he will be successful. These Wagners, excellent.
Dead painful. MrMackey moving his ACU back across the river to probably assist the forces.
Yeah, no,
Medusa doing the job and firing over the hill.
Yeah, the Medusas are kind of a mixed blessing on this map. You can fire over the hills with them, but at the same time they stop your rhinos from pathing correctly.
MrMackey moving straight directly into that,
Yeah,
wasting no time.
MrMackey committing to this push.
Meanwhile, the left side he retreats because there's a gunner up. As they see it.
Yeah, the
Doesn't
gun
look like he has any counter to it. Unless he can somehow snipe the power of TA4Life.
But MrMackey's
He's actually
finding
not
himself in a bit of a difficult spot without an army and about 6 Ultras near his ACU. So it looks like a bit of quick vet could save him. And looks like the Ultras won't try to kill him there.
Oh, that's a shame.
7 bombers doing
I
the work.
think if TA4Life committed, he could have definitely killed MrMackey. He didn't have overcharge inside.
It would have been a risk. TA has
A lot of bombers out for MrMackey again.
radar coverage.
He's trying to kill the Ilshravers, pushing on the south left,
Yeah.
southwest with bombers. Very interesting. But TA4Life
they're
pushing
effective.
back with the gun ACU, moving across the river to try to make some kind of pincer maneuver on MrMackey's ACU.
And it looks like now TA will be getting Tech 2 on his ACU. If he can get some T2 PD that he can just keep alive, then that would be a good bit to stopping all these pushes and counter pushes
If he
going
can
up.
somehow secure the left side, there is a lot of reclaim to be had on this left side, actually, where the two maxes are.
Yeah, I mean,
MrMackey should be reclaiming that.
it looks like he will send some engineers over there. He knows
And
he's
yet
won.
another Wagner going around the back of TA's base.
Oh, this is just a wonderful play. This is such an innovative thing. I haven't seen this since
There's also a Wagner moving around the Hydro, which TA4Life seems to be building, since that is very strange because he has a T2P gen.
But that T2P gen is a bit of a liability. Not really a liability, but it's a big target.
Well, if the lone Wagner can somehow kill it, then I can see the points in the Hydro, but there's too much.
I mean, the T1
forces
bombers, are they targeting? They're targeting the T2P gen without a shield.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Down to 800 HP the first pass, but Inti's clearing up this guy's a second Wagner, very low health though. If only they
If he can
targeted this
somehow go it.
upgrade in T1 Max, sitting on 200 HP, that would have been a huge loss. But it will
Yes.
upgrade successfully. Now TA looks like he has.
TA
Tech
is
2.
actually alone with his ACU on the left side, but you shouldn't be worried because he still has his power and he has a gun and Tech 2 ACU. That's pretty.
Oh,
really-
beautiful overcharge.
That is a very tough ACU. I
And
think MrMackey has to get stealth at this point.
we've got multiple
Which indeed
T1
he is.
PDs, the T2PD now at 22.5 minutes.
Yeah. MrMackey trying to get a couple of Wagners in again, but it's not gonna work.
So, MrMackey really needs to do something to start dictating the pace of this game, because TA really has this under control. He can just keep advancing his ACU, getting value out of it. He has air control for pretty much scouting and denying all this nice bomber harassment that Mackey's been doing this whole game.
I think if MrMackey can grab the reclaim fields, he can just do a fast T3. He is boldly engaging the Ilshravas on the right side with his ACU. Takes his ACU down into the yellow, but he takes out almost all of the Ilshravas.
Yeah, I think Mr.
So now the
Mackey-
right side is completely open, except for this little group of Ilshravas.
He'll need to do something. TA now with 4 T2 mexes versus MrMackey. I can't see a T2 mex in his base. So a bit of an issue there. Mackey way behind on the tech.
I think a T2 air would be nice from on.
I think TA could probably afford that, but I'd question MrMackey's ability too. Although TA actually has a very expensive T2 radar. Interesting move.
I would have built T1 because T2 radar is not very necessary on this map because it's so small. To just build a T1 radar like next to in the middle,
well,
next to the radar, and you can see everything.
His T1 radars keep getting killed, so perhaps wanting to avoid that in the future.
You can even make a T2 radar in the main base and see everything in the other base.
I mean, this T2 radar is pretty advanced, but it will give him very good intel about pretty much everything that's happening at the cost of like 200 power per tick.
Well, it seems that he has that power with the T2 PJ.
Wasting like 300 power per second. Not really a big deal. Come on, upgrade that to Omni.
He's actually going minus some power right now.
So he has to be careful though that he doesn't get too greedy, because there is a very large force of Medusa and Rhino that could collapse on his ACU if he's not careful.
He seems to be mismicroing his Ultraverse into the ACU. MrMackey gets a nice vet.
Slight lack of attention there, but definitely forgivable. There's a lot of things going on, and several fake T1 PD.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Maybe he wants to prevent MrMackey to somehow push in there.
MrMackey's not
but I
backing
think
radar with his
actual
force.
T1 PD would have been.
He can't see your fake T1 PD. It's not gonna help. So MrMackey trying to run directly into TA4Life's base, creating a diversion on the right side of the map to divert TA's forces. We'll try to run directly in there. Emergency T1 PD going up. We'll successfully get up, although they do have a habit of getting Medusa to death. And now
more like Zooey to death. Seems that TA tried to do a T2PD creep on the left side, but it got countered by Rhinos, so... I'm sorry, not Rhinos. Vipers.
So yeah, MrMackey totally committing to this push.
So, there seems that there's a gigantic mass dump inside TA's base. What could have been nice? A mass dump inside your base.
Kills the T2 P-Gen at the last second, though, which is...
That would be a problem. That is his only source of power.
If only TA was actively using said T2 P-Gen to generate power.
Actually, that made his balance much better.
Yeah.
He's not wasting that much power now.
And now he's got...
I'm not sure if that's really so good, but TA tried to get a force of units in MrMackey's base. He took down 2 mexes.
And there is
but
a T1 transport here. Not sure what that's
Beetles.
up to.
But it looks like it's going to get countered by interceptors.
I mean, MrMackey just doesn't have the air control to do this. He's got his force all the way in the back of his base.
Now it seems that TA has a mass skip, and quite a big one. If he makes enough power, he can go straight to T3.
Yeah, he'll have to catch back up on the power. Front.
MrMackey's still not a single... Oh no, he has one. Only one.
TA with about double the mass income. Not necessarily where MrMackey wants
No,
to be.
Beetles out for MrMackey, but that transport got taken down.
Yeah, 6 Beetles. So,
Waiting
he has
to be used.
Very careful.
Maybe he can somehow divert TA4Life's ACU attention. Because the units do not prioritize Beetles, surprisingly, even if it's only T1. Which is very strange.
And it looks like MrMackey has taken back air control. At a very convenient time with these 6 Beetles sitting nearby. Looks like he doesn't want to build a new transport though. I mean, if TA gets too close with this ACU and tries to push through the choke point, then the Beetles might just run up and kill him. But big push
It seems
from
that Vipers are pushing
Mackey.
up on the left side.
Yeah, I'm at 29 minutes right now, and Mr.
Yeah, I'm at
Mackey
29 too.
successfully taking the left expansion from TA, trying to even up that mass income a bit. And
Oh,
gain a
TA
position
has
to
actually
push
grabbed the two mexes on the bottom left.
Yeah, he's got even an
And a
actual
little
T1
T1
PD there.
PD2.
Fake one.
Still a lot of Medusa out from Mr. Mack. Rather not a lot of Rhino.
Looks like
Seems that TA4Life has a lot more build capacity in terms of factory. But Mr. Mackey is trying to counter with
TA
engineers.
losing T2 Maxes to this advanced force.
Yes, Vipers are very nasty.
Definitely. Although TA will be cautious. I mean, he scouted these beetles like a million times.
He's actually bombing the Rhinos instead of the Beetles.
I mean, Rhino drops.
Mr. Mackey has brought his ACU back.
Yeah, it's sitting there in the base. Maybe trying to get across.
Still.
T1 transport has been rebuilt. Although TA couldn't build himself. Lots of nice static T1AA and teaching point defensive. Although that won't save his main base if this force of Rhinos can come push directly into it.
Right side is actually completely open right now for Mr. Mackey. There's a lot of Ilshivas, and it doesn't look like he has anything to counter it.
Well, I mean, the Elshivas just can't push through here. Nice overcharges from Mr. Mackey. But the big deal is that TA is losing the battle over on this left side choke point. He can try to use the range of his Elshivas to whatever advantage he can.
That choke point is very nasty for Ilshivas, bunching them all up, nice and plump for the Medusas.
Yeah. I mean, you end up just running your units in one at a time to a nice concave with Elshivas destroying you. And the transport is off. 6 beetles trying to land directly on TA's ACU. TA without any static AA nearby. Trying to run into the water. Drop is successful. Yeah, a bit.
Oh,
And that
that
would be
is...
the game.
Oy.
Wow.
That's anticlimactic.
I think that's amazing. TA... yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at those the whole time.
But as soon as you left the protection of your static AA without any air control, bam, you're dead.
Just think about Cyber. Sneaky. They're not up in front like all the other factions.
No.
Both of these guys played very well. Very interesting to watch, especially Mr. Mackey's somewhat bad equal. But I guess that's because TA grabbed. Actually, we haven't looked at the reclaim number. Mr. Mackey has 15, almost 16k, and TA actually has almost 20k. So he has indeed gotten more mass out of reclaim.
Nah, definitely. And when you're behind on the eco, you can always cheese it with the snipe. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this cast with Mr. Kappa here.
I did too.
So, good night.
Thank you so much.